Hi.
Hey,
Hey,
Hello.
Mom.
Hi,
Good
Jen.
to see you. Woohoo.
hey,
Hey. We got Naples in the house.
ooh,
Well, definitely a family affair today, huh?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's the regular thing where we're two wild and crazy kids.
Yeah.
Just like that old SNL.
yeah,
Remember?
Oh, Sally Ann. Okay.
Hi, Carol. So good to see you. Carol, guess what I have? Let's see if I can show it.
Evil eye.
No, no, this.
yeah,
Carol, I have kept that little precious treasure with me. I don't know
Oh,
how many years ago you gave that to me at a breakthrough. I'm gonna get all teary. It's a little blessing that hangs next to my
That's
desk.
amazing.
So, your
My
gift.
connection for you, my connection with you is not very good.
Oh, you're not
well, you
hearing me?
look fine.
So, but yeah, Carol, you had done those little I can't remember if you called them prayer drawings or blessing, whatever, but um
Pencil prayers.
pencil prayers, that's it. And that ripple still is going. It's still there. You're the way you touched people. So I think of you every day and it's hanging right off. I just look to the side and it's next to the another gift somebody gave me. So I think of you often. So it's so good to see you today. I'm
Thank you
glad
so
that
much.
you're joining us. So we have the transcript going to, and we do have a recording, so you will get it. So just a quick, I know we have some people that were here yesterday and some that weren't. So just to get going, I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to have us each just, have a goal. It may not necessarily be your official goal, an official goal for 2025, but something that you've been thinking about that you want to achieve or accomplish. Um, and I'm just introduce myself to somebody who might see the replay who doesn't know me well. I'm Jen Vigil. I'm an artist, art historian, and art business strategist. And I love working with artists to help you create your dream careers. One of my goals right now is to find a place to exhibit my body of work that I've been working on for 3 years. Andrew, do you want to go next?
hi. So I'm Andrew. I'm a multimedia artist, and I also specialize in marketing. One of my goals for next year is to find a better balance in my schedule, and through that, find more time not just in the studio, but really in a flow where I'm creative and really kind of expanding some of my work. So yeah.
Who wants to go next? Sally Ann?
Marcy, sorry. Yeah, so mine is very like a bit like Andrew is actually to just sort out my flow a bit more. It's still a bit a nice practice between studio time. I seem at times to when I was teaching full time, I seem to have spent more time in the studio than I did now. But marketing sometimes gets away with you if you're not careful. But my probably a big goal is to really promote and get make my art retreats more not successful because they were really successful this year, but just work on that and actually get a solo exhibition organized. That's my because I haven't done a solo one for a while, so mm, that's my big goals this year.
Awesome. Who wants to go next? Carol, Muffy?
I guess I will.
Oh,
I'm Muffy Clark Gill. I'm not really sure what my goal for this next year is because I've been busy creating artwork for the last 2 months to make up or catch up with a lack of doing it last year. So I'm trying to put together a new body of work. So I'd like to try to continue to expand on that and also experiment more with uh, collage series I've been doing with mixed media.
Okay. Thank you, Muffy. Carol.
Well, I've just had an amazing couple of years as far as flow. But what I need to do is to automate things, which is why I'm here to find out about Notion, because everything I try to do takes me longer because I haven't kept up with the details and so on.
All right. Thank you so much, Carol. And Kathy, do you have a goal or something that it doesn't necessarily have to be for next year, but just something that's on your mind that you want to accomplish or do? I think you're muted, love.
Just consolidating my systems from multiple platforms kind of in one place to make it a little bit more seamless and cohesive.
Sounds good. Okay. All right. So, Andrew, do you want me to be sharing mine or?
Yeah, go ahead and share yours and kind of show them how it can be a really great tool for you. And both managing your workflow, automating things, and its ability to consolidate different programs or workflows into one space. So
Okay, so yesterday we talked about our Notion 1.0. That is really for, as we explained yesterday, it's a little bit more better suited for people who are more of merging artists and trying to get just even understand all the things you're supposed to do. Some of you might know I have a thing where I'm like the tortoise, the hare, and the hummingbird, because I think we all at different times have different energy levels. So if you're seeing the different icons, it kind of represents that level too. So 1.0 was a tortoise. If you just do these things, slow and steady wins the race. That's everything you'd need to, to do this. And the hare is when you're feeling a little bouncier and you're ready to take on more. And that's where, we kind of, as established artists, which everybody here is, we're often in that bouncy phase. And then we will, as I said yesterday, be rolling out a 3.0 in later this year, in 2025, I should say, not later this year. I'm already living in mentally next year, apparently. But that is the hummingbird. And the hummingbird's like, I'm ready to go. I've got all this and I got all these other things. So we'll add more databases and other things, which you'll see. But, with all of this, as Andrew pointed out before, you can easily change up your icon or put something else here if you want. There's a lot of things that Andrew, when he's talking, will show you about how to customize, but they're just simple things like you can change this cover. If you had another image, a photo that you've taken, your own artwork or whatever, all of these things are nice that you can make it feel more like your space and studio. So we've just kind of, let's put it this way, we furnished this a little bit, but you can change the decorations. So we'll talk about some of that, but that's just nuance. Again, we put this title here. We talked about this yesterday. You can call this your workspace. I like to do this every year. I got this from Chris Brogan way back when. Does his planning for each year where he picks 3 words to act as guideposts and then kind of lead your goals. I might put my 3 words there, or I might put an inspirational quote, anything you want. Every place on the database, just to get you started, has, anytime you see pink text here, there is a screencast you can click on. It will basically show you how to do what that section is. So you don't even have to go digging around. It's always there and accessible. So I'm going to talk to you more specifically as artists myself, and a strategy in terms of strategy and how to make your workflow. And Andrew's going to talk to you on the tech side on some of the nuances and things that you can do and make that and play around with it more. But I'm going to think about, and one of the reasons I wanted to ask where you're at is I figured I could use it as examples as we're going through, but also to get an idea of where you're at. Now, at any point today while we're talking, if I think we have the recording going, let me just double check it. Anytime today, if you have any questions, or if you say, hey, like Kathy, I'm gonna circle back to, you had a very good point that we did not include. And when we talked last time about having the checklist of what to do at the end, like, so if you have, we want to hear from you so we can create more things to make this work and serve you. As I said yesterday, some of the things we're going to be rolling out for, especially for 3.0, is teaching artists a workflow that gets you from course idea to finish launch. Kathy had a really good point last time. Many of us have created or maybe don't have it and want to know, hey, what is everybody's like? What's like a standard checklist? When I finished a piece of work, what should I be doing and make sure I'm doing? Like photographing it. I need this thing. I need that. I need this. You know what I mean? So these are things, if you see something, let us know and we will create and, send updates and stuff like that. Okay. So, like Kathy, I'm going to hit you up later, after the workshop to talk to you about the checklist that you mentioned yesterday, of when the work is done, because yes, I think that's good. And when we get to that section today, I'm kind of curious on where you would want to see it so that we can add this as a quick update and turn that around. So there might be some things you guys see today and we can do quick updates. And before you like dig in and start adding a lot to it, we can have Kathleen, our Notion guru, turn it around and flip it. And so you can get a Notion 2.2, or I mean 2.1 next week right away before you really start getting into stuff, because I thought, oh yes, we will be rolling out what I would say is our SOPs, some forms and things like that, which don't necessarily need to be in here, but we will be making those available in the new year. If you've wanted to know, like, hey, what should I be doing or what's the process, that would be good. Okay, so let's just jump in. Andrew, why am I not seeing? Oh, here it is. So Andrew talked about this last time. Anytime you see an arrow, it's collapsible. It's a toggle. And so it compresses your page so that you can see more tasks. So you can integrate this, as we discussed last time, and sync this if you use Google Calendar. You can also connect this and see all your appointments and things on there when your availability is. We have set this up to pull stuff from your content marketing and create, and we'll show you later, but as we get to that, but like if you planned content or you have specific tasks. So this is showing tasks because I've added some in my task thing. So it's a nice big calendar view of what you've got coming up. Okay. So let's just start with goals. Usually, with everything that we're doing, we're moving from a place of what do we want in our lives? What do we want to have happen? And being able to track that. And, pretty much all of us have worked with Allison, who tried to whip us into shape between, having your goals, breaking them down into projects and tasks. And I recall, over a decade ago, when I first started working with Allison, it was a challenge mentally to distinguish from a goal and a project. We would do those breakthrough sessions, our breakthrough conferences, and we were supposed to have our 3 goals for the year. And she'd come over and look at me and she's like, Jen, you have 15. Those aren't goals, those are projects. I will tell you, I get it. I have simplified, and this is what we're trying to do for you, is to be able to take your annual goals here. And so the first thing might be is, if I'm starting to plan for next year, I would say maybe have a studio goal. And I would type in here and click on this, add this first one. And I would say studio, maybe I'd say body of work, and an exhibition is my goal, is one of my goals, is a big goal, right? Maybe, business goal, maybe, I want to get more automation going, which is kind of what Carol was saying, right? And then I could go, if you go in here, I can get into the page view and I can add more content. So for this year goal, when you get in here, if you clicked on that, so let me back that up. So I did that kind of fast. Oops, grab it. So, um, let me just ditch this here really quickly. I was gonna move that to trash and make a new one. So you can start it here, in which I said, studio. But say I want to be able to see everything here. Sorry, I hate this Grammarly. It's the bane of my existence. I love it, but it can't get that damn floating thing out of my face. Go away, Grammarly. Are you seeing the Grammarly float? There we
No.
go. Here we go. There we click this in. So when we have created sections for you, when you're looking at this stuff, these are different templates. We are in the year view, so I want to click on the year goal, and it's going to auto-populate some information. So I'm going to still title this, this is my body of work, and my goal is an exhibition. That's the title of it. So what is my goal? My goal to find a venue to exhibit my body of work. How is it measured? That I have a date scheduled for the exhibition. Done looks like, and when I want to say, you know, I've added some of these kind of questions and use what works for you. But what does done look like? Sometimes we don't have that clear. We want to make sure. Done looks like I have it on the books. I have a plan and I know when it is. Like, you know, I have a date, I have a venue, a date, a contract, if need be, clarity on number of works, on number, you know, like the number of pieces or space to fill, and what my responsibilities are versus the venue. And then I can start maybe breaking down and writing some tasks that I can grab later. And then I might ask myself, what if it doesn't, what's at stake if I don't accomplish that? And these are questions that, you know, we kind of think about with things like, what if I do accomplish this? Sometimes we're a little afraid of success. Like, what happens if I do this? What might this open up for me? And ultimately, why does this matter to me? You know, so you can use these questions or not, but it just gives you some idea and you start there. Okay, so that is your goal view, and you can do, that's your annual. So the next thing would be quarterly. So right now you're saying, well, you have 5 quarters here. Well, that's because you would want to filter, and I have not filtered this and I wanted to show you. I've got the 4 quarters for 2024. So if I wanted to do that, I didn't click that they were all 2024, but there. So this is, I can just choose and add a filter. This, you can choose by due date, or, you know, what it, in this case, I had added for a year, and then that's that filter, so it'll only see this. So now with this quarterly goal, what would I need to do in Q1? So say I might, one of my goals, if I open this up again, we would have, you can auto-populate some questions to help guide you through doing this. You're not looking at a blank page. So here, what was the goal for this month? So maybe the portion for this goal of this month is to identify 5 venue options. How is this measured? I've got them added to a database. I have list and know if my work is a fit, you know, and what does done look like, right? Then I would create my tasks. What's at stake if I don't accomplish this? I'm not moving towards getting my goal, whatever. So I can have my due date. And so say my due date for this one, and this is the end of the Q1. And so probably for Q1, I'd probably want more than to figure out 5 venues, but so my due date, you know, and maybe I want to accomplish this particular task by the end of February, and I can put that there. Okay, so that's the quarterly. And then what this might mean, so maybe even a better goal might be to have said, I want to have reached out to the goals. So then when I get to my monthly goal for January, I could say identify, maybe it would have been broken down, identify five venues, and then February is reach out to the 5 venues, and then by end of March, I've confirmed that that venue is. But again, you still have these auto-populated aspects. Now, Andrew will talk more about this later. We have everything set up so that it's in like a Kanban. So you can either have it and it's in rows, which is a Kanban columns, or gallery. I have this currently set up as a gallery. We've done this for monthly as more of a as Kanban, so you can see it moving from left to right from January to February, as opposed to seeing it as a gallery. Andrew will show you how to change this. If you like to see the spreadsheet view, you can hit the database here. Everything is, and this is for the monthly, and Andrew will go into database views when he's talking more about functionality.
May I jump in for a second? So we just got a question in the chat. What is a Kanban? So Kanban is just like a fancy name for cards. So if we go back to something like goals, it's sorted. Let's go to like tasks, because I think that'll be more helpful for us to understand what a Kanban is. So Kanban traditionally comes from platforms like Trello or Asana, where you want to track a workflow and often the status of something. So you can, it's a visual way to track, for most commonly, a task. So here, for example, if you needed to send something to a gallery, you can put it as not started and then transition it over to in progress and to done. So for us, it's the same information that you would see in a database, but instead of clicking statuses, you get to visually move it around, which for us as artists can be a much more, visually engaging and much more convenient, much easier for us. Imagine if you had a big board and you had post-it notes under different categories and you move the post-it notes. It's the same function there. Just the technical term is a Kanban board.
So think of it as columns, and a gallery just being a grid. A gallery is a grid, a Kanban is columns. So they call it a Kanban view, so that's where we're using that. So say today I sat down and this is the day I was going to be doing the sending email to gallery. It's not in progress. I got it done. I could just drag it over here. By dragging it over here, notice how it changed the status. So if I move it back here, I don't even have to type the status. So Carol, when you were saying, I would love things automated, here's the thing. I don't have to go in and check this in there. Even if I don't need to, I may not even have to look at all the details on a task view. Like might need to know and do all of this here. I just know that it was a simple, I need to send this email. I know exactly what that is. I did it today. It's done. It's now in my completed. But so yeah, so the next thing that you would do is after your goals would sit down and figure out what you're going to do. And you can break this down. You can write them in the you can either enter them straight into the database view, or I can do here. So watch what happens when I do this on the database. I mean, in the Kanban view. And my working date is here, is going to be today, because, this is what I need to do. And if you notice, it automatically put it in the database down here too. So as I wrote it, it did it. So I'll show you again. So if you noticed, it came down there. I need to order that, and maybe my working date is going to be the 17th because I know they're having a sale or something. And so it goes ahead and already puts that. Now, if I'm in this view, I can add different things like what's the category. So like, so maybe this is a studio or an admin task, you know, this you know, so, and Andrew will talk more about this, but you can always add different categories by just typing it. So maybe this is I don't know, you know, maybe another category. I can't think of, I'm having a brain fart right there. But this is how you would put all your tasks, because then you can see it. Now, if I'm putting a date that I want to work on it and the working date, that's why I can sort by just everything that is showing up today. If I wanted to see what I need to do next week, I can hit here, and we've already done some filters that are automatic there. What do I need to do this month or next month? And so it can sort by this. Or again, I can see that table view, which I wouldn't want to do in here. So
What
you
if
can-
you want to, I'm sorry to interrupt. What if you want to do something sort of reoccurring? Like every Monday I have to work, you know, in the studio between these hours or something.
Andrew, do you want to show her how to do the reoccurring? Is there-
Sorry. So there's a couple ways you can do. Like Kathleen is our specialist, so this is when something that comes into a little bit 3.0 if you want it automated in the database. But what we can do is either formulas or something like a daily button, so you can make it semi-automated. Like for here, if Jen were to click on the add daily tasks, it adds actions of, so if that button, it automatically
Okay.
prompts certain tasks. So that's the easiest way without having to get into the formula section of the database. So that's one of the easiest things is if you want to start your day, you click it, you have certain tasks that you always want to repeat. And then on a more advanced level, you can customize the tables to have recurring events that come at certain times. So it either like for buttons too, you can schedule them on a daily basis to automatically populate that in for you. So that's where you kind of get into the more advanced customization, but it's just about setting it up and building what you want, and then just doing a couple settings to make it populate up.
So Kathy, one of the things that Kathleen has done, and this is why we'll be sending you information tonight to follow up on, and I do feel like there are some customizations that are useful. I don't want to like freak you out by showing you mine, but do you want to see?
Oh, no, I want to see it. I want to see it.
Okay, Andrew told me I shouldn't show you,
But-
but I'm gonna.
No, but okay, we'll circle back, and maybe in the future we can show you that. One of the things to think about is, you know, this is just a starting point for us, but there's going to be more tutorials. We're going to be starting a YouTube channel where we break down some of these things, because there's a lot of fun bells and whistles and places you can take this. And, you know, here our templates are just a starting structure and a starting place for us to talk about this, but there's ways that you can really customize it. You know, Jen, for example, really likes toggles and having stuff populated, while other people's like databases, like structured like workspaces, kind of like pre-made sketchbooks. So there's a lot of great ways. So Jen, do you want to hop back?
This template I had Kathleen make for me. And I'm kind of goofy because I need to make it sound fun. So I was like, can you add stuff to me? And then I was trying to make it sound fun, like Good Day Sunshine. Like this might be the things that I'm trying to do during the day on my personal routine, which notice that none of them have it done. Okay, get it done. These are personal things that I need to do because I have a lot of crazy things like call the doctor's office because, you know, I need to get this or refill medication. I love there was a 5-minute journal. They used to have an app. It's free. Everybody's monetized it. I lost everything in it. So I made Kathleen build me my own version. So if I click on that, I go in there and it gives me a quote for the day and I can rate my mood. And in theory, I'm supposed to start every day by writing 5 things I'm grateful, 3 things I will do for my well-being and health today. I write my own affirmation. And then at the end of the day, I'm supposed to reflect and say, how did I take care of myself? Did I learn anything? This is, I'm going to say this is aspirational, not necessarily something I'm getting done every day, but you know, there it is. So I broke it down. Eat the frog is the stuff that I absolutely have to do. Get this stuff done today. And then I have my studio in this. So for me, like if I have stuff that is urgent, I move it into here. These are just like regular tasks. This is how I would do
Right.
Kathleen. So these are the things that I would want to check off every day. Like if I need to clear out an email box, I need to, have I looked to see if the things I need to respond to the team, you know, what do I need to do for social media today? Did I check it off? If there's something I need to do something, and then this is the stuff I customize and put in for myself, like what I, you know, have to do. And this also pulls my calendar. These are the things when I say Kathleen can customize our main base stuff. So this is the one that I like personally. This is a reminder of what kind of zone I'm working in during the day. Am I doing research and planning, exploration, experimentation, or creation and execution? This is based on my creating with purpose workflow. And so then I'll add specific tasks underneath here, like, you know, whatever in prep. Clearly, I'm not going to the studio today, but let me get out of this big view and go back to my Notion template. But so Kathy, yes, you can customize, it can be customized to work with our thing. If you want something that is an auto-populated for your dailies or whatever. Works for you. And let me find Zoom so I can grab my buttons. Andrew, are you watching questions? I think there might have been some more that are coming up in the chat. But yes, I know that's my bag of crazy. And I will say, you know, the nice thing is that this Notion templates that we've created are a much more organized system because we had a lot of chaos and crazy, and with working with artists and other things, this is what's evolved. We talked yesterday about having spaces to journal. Again, this, you can have a tutorials right here. You can look at that more. And then there is, you know, like say if I was out walking and I want to keep like an ongoing, you can have different things. You can create a new page and just add content. I like this for also capturing ideas or thoughts I had during the day in the studio, because this has become useful to help make it easier for me to generate content like I shared last time. If you're using ChatGPT, and I will be doing more workshops on this next year, the way to make ChatGPT really a team player for you is feeding it your own words when you want it to do something. So I want to write a caption about, you know, ChatGPT, write a Instagram caption for me today that talks about what I was doing in the studio. And I have an image of me painting. And here are some phrases and thoughts and ideas that I had today during that. Write me a caption with high engagement hashtags. Boom. If you have a place to capture this, you can cut and paste it quickly to make AI help you more. Okay. Then we talked yesterday a little bit about creating reference boards and inspiration. So Andrew, go. Yes.
Yeah, so I guess right now what we're talking about is, I know yesterday especially Kathy was talking about how can we manage our work, and someone else was asking if how can artwork, artwork archive be potentially replaced. So I think, isn't this one of the kind of the first steps of ideating and then going through? Or could you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, this one, but what I want to go back here for is when it's from art ideas to inventory are all related, and inspiration reference is its own separate world. So you can create boards, and I can add, so say I'm going to pull up, you're not going to see me do this, but say I'm pulling up, because I have been doing a lot of work around my, you know, my medical stuff. So maybe it didn't go in. Did that not go in? There it is. So maybe I want to do something like, so you can see me up in the window, and maybe I want to use this X-ray as an inspiration for a piece. I can just drop it in there. So when I'm ready to sit down, I can pull this up on my iPad and just go straight into my inspiration that's here. So maybe I know I want to have stuff about X-rays, and I want to capture like 5 or 6 inspirational X-rays here that I'm using as a basis. I did another X-ray where it was a side view of my skull and I used it as a basis for cutting out a template. I might dump all of those in there. I could also be like, oh yeah, you know what? And when I was back in Tucson over Thanksgiving, it was really cool. I saw, I was out in the desert again, and there was this really funky tree, and I want to pull this in here. And I liked this texture. So you can pull stuff from your own, folders and things like this, and then say you're like, wow, this is taking up a lot of space. This is really driving me crazy. I would do here and hit a backslash, and I would say toggle, and I would say maybe give it a title, X-rays. And then I'm going to grab this image and drop it underneath there. And it's like, oh, it's not there yet. Well, I have to grab this a little bit further and maybe do a turn this into just some text. And then I'm moving this under here. Oops. And in theory, I'm going to get this so I can top, but I'm just having to, there we go. So now I can just collapse it. So maybe I have inspiration. So you have a board name, and my board name might be all X-rays, but maybe these are, I want hand X-rays, and I want to see all the hand X-rays here and all the head X-rays. So there's ways of consolidating information, but I can put anything. So say I could put a URL. And so this is, keep in mind, so you can capture everything. I can add a photo of my sketchbook or anything like that. So that's what the inspiration and reference is in terms of a workflow. And so, like I might rename this to say this is medical inspiration, stuff that has to do with medicine or something like that, or whatever. It could be, this one could be textures, like this one is color. Maybe it's color palette ideas. So you can create whatever kinds of boards here. Now, this is its own enchilada. This is where we start getting interesting. Everything we do here, from art ideas all the way down to inventory, it's technically in the same spreadsheet database. We're just showing you very specific views and prompting you to think about things. We talked a little bit about this last time. Again, this is the board view, aka Kanban. So we're seeing it in, so say I had, I wanted to do, hand X-rays might be right now the working title, because, well, oh, what was I saying? What did I call this one? Maybe I have a concept for a piece and I'm calling it My Bones Hold the Pain, something like that, right? And this is this piece. So then, and that's where I'm kind of titling this. And I've clicked on this piece here, and then this works us through. I'm going to make this just a bigger screen. So control this a little bit on my workspace. So with this, I might be a description of, write this description here. I might say, white Conte on black paper is what I'm thinking, with red text from my journal is the concept I have. And then I can have the information about ideas, what's the inspiration. This auto-populates the idea and asks questions, and then I can fill in more stuff. And I can, and then you can have, oops, I did that twice, sorry. You can always, with a Mac, the undo is the Command Z. And so then in the studio, there's another prompt. This might be a list of things. These are just different views. But here I have where I'm going with this and some ideas of what I want to do. Okay. That is where I get started. And then I can decide whether or not, oops, sorry, I'm in the wrong view here. Gotta move my, okay. So that was if I'm just priming up and getting ideas going for it. Everything I put in there is still in the same database and I'll see all that information, but in different views. So now if I'm ready to get started, I can then continue to start working on it more. And then we have ideas, some more subject matter and things like this. And then I can move it. Oh, I started working on that piece. Boom. And then, oh, sorry. Now that so say I've finished pieces, everything that's done and has the status of done will appear here. And I can see everything and it has all the information I put on it. And then if I open it, I can see all the kinds of stuff that we did for it. So in here would be the size, any of the sold date. This is the stuff that you would normally see kind of in artwork archives. Okay, so that's all the available work. Now say for my purposes, I'm trying to pitch and get an exhibition. I would pick like maybe 10, 15 pieces that I think that would be the body of work that I'm going to pitch. And maybe I have a couple ideas, like one museum, I think these 5 pieces or 6 pieces might be better, this or other, and I could give them titles. And I can see and have this all ready and organized around bodies of work that I might want to push for an exhibition or how I see they're related. And it's just tagging and organizing them, and I can shift it. Quickly, I can just kind of move it. If I've decided to go in here, it'll redo the title. So if I do this, all of a sudden, this is going to be titled and have the category blue pieces instead of, you know, like say it was green works. Underneath that is body works ideas. And again, bodies of work gets us to start thinking about exhibitions and shows. So now that I have, maybe I have 2 venues, I had 5 and I approached 5 galleries or spaces and I have 2 options to present my work. I am going to then want to organize it and create a category. Maybe it's a sale, like in my case, I'm just trying to exhibit it, but this could also be what pieces you're going to bring to a sale. Yes, Andrew? Oh, okay, I thought you were jumping in. Or maybe these pieces I need to set aside because I'm going to be exhibiting them at that venue. And I know that all these other pieces I should take with me or are available to put in the open studio. Don't put these other ones up there for sale. They're going to be exhibited. And then finally, this is your just broader inventory kind of category. And this just gives you the broad strokes. If I had 50 pieces, here's everything that's currently available, and it's going to be one long column. If I've donated something or sold it, and that just tells me what is going on with everything I have. So I can quickly look at, oh yeah, I've got 5 available pieces, and then I can also, and Andrew will show you this more. If I wanted to, I could sort, oh shoot, I have 15 pieces, and some of us, we know how it's been. We have 15 pieces and 5 of them are in our gallery. I need either to make more or see if I can snag something from a gallery. Less optimal. And that is kind of your creative workflow. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about before talking about just some of these resources is your content calendar. And here, this is where you can say, I want to send out an email. Say you want to send out once a month, or it's every week. You would put it in there, and then I could add, for example, in here, what is it going to be? A description, like when's the date? This one's going to go out the 23rd. This description is, happy holidays and thank you or whatever. Share some of the magic from 2024. And maybe I might want to even add, here are the images that I want to include in this email. And here is where, this is how I love setting this up to make it easy for you to use ChatGPT. Now, this is where I would just start, honestly, I would do a bullet. I would write, like, thank you. I am grateful for, if I was trying to have ChatGPT, and then I'd like add some more things. Maybe I have a quote I wanted to share. add this quote, anything that I want to include, and I would grab all of this and give it to ChatGPT. And like, I want you to write me a short email that's going to go out, and I want you to use these words of mine in this email. And I'm going to be including images. And then you're going to say, and they'll make it even easier for you. Use ChatGPT. I want you to give me 5 different subject headlines around this with pre-header text. We did not include that in here. Pre-header text, depending on your email system, you put your subject headline, and that's that next first like 3 sentence that shows up in your inbox. And the hook, you can have ChatGPT do all that. Boom, boom, boom. So, and a call to action. And if there are any links that you're going to put in there, so maybe you want to give them a reminder that hey, I'm going to be teaching a class right away in January. And if you want to sign up, this is a great time to do it before then or whatever. And there it is. So you can have all that ready. And then the idea is the date I want it to go out is here. It's going to be, it's not going to be, it's an email. So I might say, we already have it in the email category, but this is you could even add blog posts if you wanted. If there's an event it's related to, I don't know why she has doctor's appointment, but that's a personal one. But there you go. And you could do the same thing for social media. And you could say, you could take that email and you could say, can you please create me, after you have ChatGPT help you do that, you can say, based on that email you just wrote, can you please write me an Instagram caption to around the same theme to post to my Instagram page with hashtags, high engagement hashtags, and could you write a script for an Instagram story? And then you can have all that done and schedule and do it. And then anything.
So are you,
Yeah,
sorry,
Kathy.
I'm sorry, Rob, I just know, I wouldn't remember. Are you going out separately to ChatGPT, or were you doing this in Notion somehow?
Well, I have not played around with Notions, but I could say
Can you try again?
Ignore my phone. She's
it's talking to me.
So from a technical aspect, while yes, Notion does have its own AI, it's still on a shorter level and we haven't played around with prompts. But what we can think about, and one of the things we're going to be playing with and creating shortly, is some templates for like content marketing, where you can have, just like we had buttons in the other templates of like basic structures on a page, there are certain core principles that you need in a good ChatGPT prompt, like you want this kind of phrasing, and then you change these parts. So at some point, ChatGPT prompts become sort of ad libs. You update with who's your audience, what's your goal, what key information you're using, but other structures about how it talks will be the same. So one of the things that you can expand out, and we'll show in upcoming kind of workshops and prompts, is the ways that you can, once you figure out something like a prompt or the structure for an email, you can have it automatically be there in a template or with a button. So there are many ways to customize and automate something, because as soon as you figure out this is a structure I like, you can make it be a repeating thing through templates or buttons.
So Kathy,
So what is something you're showing right now?
this, I just used Notion AI. And I did the lamest, this is like the shittiest prompt I've ever written. Please create an email to my list that uses these themes. Thank you, I'm grateful. Include an inspirational holiday quote. Please write a compelling email subject headline with good open rates. The magic we created together in 2024. I'm just,
So, sorry, where did you do that though?
here, I'll show you.
So if you see the little face down in the
Face down in
corner,
corner,
Yeah.
that's your Notion AI friend. And you can ask it to do anything. Okay, so I have to ask it to do this.
so just to answer some questions in the background, Muffy, for the most part, you do not need the paid ChatGPT so far. Well, one, as Jen's showing, there is an AI in here that you can use. Probably not as strong and probably not as connected to more contemporary things if you're citing other stuff. There's a lot of ways in which AI for your different needs can be very helpful, and we will give more information about that in the future. But in general, ChatGPT gives you, it's a freemium, so it'll give you a certain amount of posts per day of the quality of its paid service. And then after a point, it drops you down to its free section. So you don't like the free quality section where it's less updated with the most recent stuff. So your free account gives you access to a limited amount of high quality results from ChatGPT, and then it goes down to slightly lower quality. You can pay to always have access to the higher quality, but for most of what our needs are, a free account is pretty good for us. It's only really worth it is if you're busting out a lot of prompts and really doing a lot of content for a year and trying to get ahead on it. In that case, because normally if you get past your limit, you could have 2 accounts and just switch between them. But if you're really putting out like 40 posts in a day or 40 prompts, if you're really getting a high level, that's when you really want to step up to a paid membership. And then to Annie, so one of the things is Notion, the most you can really mind map is customizing a page kind of like you would a sketchbook. But what you can do and what's really powerful about Notion is integrations. So for example, if you do something like Freeform to do a mind map, you can export the image and put it into Notion and store it, just like you can store any digital drawings or any photos of your sketchbooks. So you can digitize your sketchbooks and move them and journals and move them into Notion as different tag pages, as well as you can use drawing apps on iPads or on your phone or different mind map programs. And so that's one of the things is, today we're talking about what are some of the built-in features, but it has a lot of cross compatibility that makes it an interesting and an effective tool.
So a couple things. One, you can start doing the broad plan out like I just showed you. I did this, like I said, haphazard, half-ass prompt here, right? I could write a much more profound prompt. I'm better at writing prompts than this. It gave me this email. I even then said, then I gave it, please add it to my page. It went and found the sections and put it in each of the sections as appropriate, if I wanted to. I would probably not do it this way. I would probably do it the other way. I would just have my theme and I map it out when I'm ready to put this into my email account and do it. I would take the description like I had and the thoughts I had about it, like the bulleted ideas, and I would create the prompt, have this, and I would just cut and paste from here, make little tweaks and add it, in my email system and then schedule it. But this is the nice thing. Notion's AI can help you. It is crazy. You can have Notion AI write an outline for a class for you.
So
But just, like if you wanted
Yeah.
to, say you went up and had a task. And I know, okay, so let's go add a task here. Sally Ann, give me a workshop title for one of your destination retreats.
Oh yeah, the printmaking retreat. Yes.
If I can get it to open. Okay. So, just to make this easier on me, give me some ideas of what you're going to cover in this retreat.
So it's about so it'll be a lino cut printing workshop. It's also about well-being. 2-day lino cut printing workshop with the idea of going outside as well for gathering information on the first day, sketching outdoors. Then we're taking that into the retreat to create a multi-layer production print. If that helps. And it also comes with accommodation and meals and artist talks all included. Visiting artists in the evening. Talk.
I'm just going to try something really crazy. Okay. So now I'm saying, please make a, an outline for new printmaking. Workshop. With this focus. Now, you probably have, Sally Ann, have ideas, but like, see what it is.
Go say that again.
You probably have ideas on how you're gonna do this, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, just, here's crazy.
Yeah, it is because I've actually I actually used this with ChatGPT to start the
Yeah.
the layout, and then you just tweak it to what you want, and it's great. It's just like
Yeah. So what I'm
it's
saying is that-
ChatGPT is so good for
Yeah.
saves you hours. It saves you days. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is that Notion has its own built-in AI that you can be a personal assistant and do this. And then you can, I have not tried this. I have used ChatGPT to write sales pages using the above outline, please. Okay. I'm just curious. I hope you don't mind me going off in the weeds here.
No.
Because I mean, like, I'm just curious. So, all right, so Andrew's gonna be sharing some other stuff really quickly just on customize. And do you guys have any questions? Are there other things? Here we go. There we go. It's creating a sales page. Copy. So, I mean, by the way, it's telling you how much you should charge too. Because we didn't give it. It has its opinions. There we go. But so yeah, so what I'm getting at is we've tried to give you the basic workflow and idea of things that you're going to use as an artist. You know, in terms of tracking your finances, you can even add that in here. The difference from what we saw with 1.0 is this is a basic, this is not integrated or automatically pulls from a bank account. You would manually putting this in, but you can automatically see like monthly how you're doing. We just put in some, numbers here. How you're doing for the year with your expenses. Are you negative or positive? So that's in here. And then finally, the last thing is metrics. What should you track and stay on top of stuff? We tried to have one that's a time tracker so you can get a little bit, more on like how much time you're spending so you can figure out whether or not that's where you're at. But then we also gave you some basic marketing. How many numbers how many emails did you get sent out? The number of subscribers. You can add more depth to this. We just try to keep it pretty simple, like how many posts, how many flowers at the end of the month, how many works completed each month, each quarter. So we started you on the road towards keeping a little bit more attention to how you're moving through and progressing, and so that you have a place to collect and gather that as well. And then other resources, this could be your own website. You could put any other links to things that you want. And Andrew can talk a little bit more about this. All the screencasts for each of these workspace, everywhere you see a pink thing, if you want to see them all in one place, you just click here and it tells you what section of the space it is, and you could just kind of power through all the screencasts that walk you through. So, so that's when you're seeing this tutorial section, that's what it is. And say you have some other stuff that you, like maybe you saw some more information on Notion in general on YouTube, you could always add additional tutorials or whatever you wanted here. Okay, so that was me giving you from a user end, and Andrew's going to talk a little bit more about the technical. Does anybody have any questions or things that you would want? I'm going to review the chat really quickly too while Andrew's going.
So, so again, Notion can be a very diverse.
Before you go, Andrew, Sally Ann has her hand up. Let's see your question too, really quickly.
Yeah, just you probably said it, but it's sort of been a little bit information overload as well. So that's great with the tutorials. It's just as a printmaker, it's quite keeping track of so for instance, I don't do huge editions, but say I've got 5 prints, but they're at 5 different galleries. So if I put them, it's quite good, you know, so they're tagged with, so you've got a section with the galleries. So you've got the galleries you're in, and you've got a list of your artworks with the galleries. So can that be linked in so you know where, say, a print is Lake Topol, instance? And so if you clicked on that, it would show you exactly where all 5 prints are without having to go through the galleries. Is
So
that
there's a couple things. I mean, first, most of what we're seeing is powered by a single database. So they're
Yeah.
all items in here, and so it's about seeing different views. For example, there's many ways to do this. You can have duplicating processes. So for example, if you really like seeing cards, you can always duplicate it. And so you can then change. So Portrait of Maya, number 1, if you are doing kind of less prints, this is one way of doing it. But another way you can customize inside of it is specifically make sections either in the template. So like for us, we made buttons for ideas in Studio and inventory. You can make a button dedicated to questions about print. So it could be like print 1 location, print 2 location. And so you can have it set up in your template. So just like how here it gives us ideas, what it could be is like print 1, print number 1. And every time you press it, it gives you the same feedback. So if you have 5 prints, you press it 5 times and you have certain questions. Print 1 location, print 2 location, print 3 location. So there's, if
Right.
you just want to keep it in one card. Otherwise, for example, I'll just go to a table view of this. So this should be bodies of work database. So let me change that to, again, edit view, layout, table. So basically, there's different ways you can do it, and there's more. That's one of the things we can customize, is you can make subsections. We don't have it in this current Notion, but in gens let's go to gen, like open new team board, go to gens board. So team, like for us in our project section, there's something you can do where you can have underneath. So you could have one thing that could be your prints, and then print 1, print 2, print 3. So you can still sort it without it taking up as much space as you're thinking about cards. So there's
Yeah.
ways you can nest prints in. That is going to be something that needs a little bit more customization. And that's something we can talk to our team about. What's the easiest way? But there's all ways of sorting it. It just depends on kind of what's your need, what's your style. Are you a more visual person? Do you want like one card? Do you want multiple cards? And kind of figuring out, that's one of the things we do is, while we start with base structure, part of it is customizing and figuring out what exactly do you need and how can we kind of make that happen and tweak it around. So it fits with how you think and how you organize your stuff. And then, so how a lot of these work. So all of these elements, all that we're seeing are different. Edit view, layout, table. So all of the things we're viewing are different properties, are different kind of repetitive structures on each card. So we first see that when we're in art ideas and we're in a card and we see these questions over here. There are different types of, repeated trackers that are noted in the database. So it can be status, can be bodies of work. This is where databases start feeling a little bit more complex, but it's also like Artwork Archive. These are the same questions that you can track. And the reason we like that is it allows us to create these views, because all of these sections, so all of these sections, so like art, all these spaces is just one database. What we have changed is this view. So there's 2 things to understand. There's view as in what style, so like a table, a board, a chart, a list. So that's what we've been playing through. That's coming from the same database. So the database is just lines of information with pages, and you can see in different views. But what's really important is when we go to edit view and layout, we can choose what status we see. So while it seems like we've built out all these complex spaces, all they are just different properties that we're looking at. So in this table, we only want to see the property of a piece status. And if you only, so that's, and if you only want to see, for example, when we get to portfolio, we have edit view. So it's a gallery view. It's not filtered by any, status. I mean, it's not limited by any status, but it is filtered by done. So the reason why this is an effective portfolio space is because it only shows us done pieces. If we turn off done, it shows all in progress work. So while this is a little bit complex to start seeing and playing around with, Notion is really powered by a database that has, instead of just having pages, like this is a goal page, this is a notebook page, all databases do is I'll add extra information to sort through and see different views. So that's the kind of big, powerful thing. And so we will be having more tutorials to explain that and kind of how you can play around with it. But to one of the bigger questions, these databases can be simple ways to start integrating and taking the place, like you had asked for at the beginning, Kathy, about, how do I consolidate my different programs? A lot of the programs that we use and different elements of our business come down to just storing information and showing them in visual ways. And in that regard, Notion is able to take stuff and let you see it in really visually engaging ways. So that's my side, and I'll pass it back over to Jen. You're muted.
So I put some things in the chat. Annie was asking, can you do a mind map or whatever? I went in and you can see in the chat, I did, I'll even just share. I went and asked Notion, and I said, hey, can you please create a mind map based on the outline you did for the course that above? And it created this mind map here. So, there are a lot of different things. Okay, here. Can you create a slide deck? I'm going crazy.
But as I've said before, as far as just Notion's general structure, you can't make a mind map. There is the subsection that Jen is exploring right now of the AI, but in general, you can always import images and links to different programs. So you can always mind map somewhere else and import it in. And like the AI here, it's creating a mind map, so kind of a secondary program that you can see as a graphic within Notion.
So I'm just always kind of curious to see what like each thing is, and I've been testing out some different AIs that I've been hearing about. It didn't give me the visuals, but that's what the text, like here, like you can get it, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. That's why I want to do some more AI workshops in the new year. I've been particularly excited when people share new options, and one of the new options out there is also one that you can tell it what content to use, so like articles and stuff. But this in a nutshell is what we've been working on for a long time for you guys, trying to create and use the systems that I know I use in my business in the studio, and from working with artists. And like Kathy and I have been in the same artist mastermind group, the Ambitious Artist Cafe, for I don't know, eons now. And it's interesting to hear about, and as we talk about it, we'd share with each other how we work and the practice, and then the artists that I work with as we support in our business. I get ideas and we try to come up with that, and that's where this is all this emerged from. There's so much more we're going to be adding in the new year: a commissions database, getting into galleries, grants, artist residencies, and basically would be an add-on, and you just pop it up and it would be another thing over in the left. So there's infinite ways of using it, and we just wanted to share with you kind of how Notion is this really powerful tool that can help you take charge of your business, and it has a lot of resources. We've created one system that you can work, but in general, Notion has a lot to offer. So if you have any last minute questions, I know we've kept you over an hour already and probably so much stuff. And it's hard because Notion does have that. So does anybody have any last minute or any questions? It's not weird, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Muffy.
I was just wondering, I had signed up for your offer.
Yeah.
And is there a template download for that, or what do I do from here?
Okay, I will reach out to you because I think you got it before we had it automated.
Okay,
So I'll reach out to you on that afterwards.
okay.
And we'll get you all set up. Does anybody else have any questions? You know, how things like this? And by the way, when you watch, if you watch the replay of this, or if you get the templates and are using the tutorials, just feel free to ask questions, type, use support at Jennifer CV Hill, because then it's our whole Notion team can see it right away and respond to any questions that you might have to, like, I want to do this and it's not working the way I want it to. We'll we'll send you a screencast and show you how to fix it or how to do it or where it's at. So, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. And you'll get a follow-up email with more information, the replay, and some other resources. So if you have anything, just again, reach out. We're so glad you spent time with us today. And hopefully this gives you some ideas on different ways that you can approach organizing your idea, your business and your creative practice. I know a lot of people, this isn't going to be right for everybody. Some people just really like paper. I get that. I still use paper. And as y'all know, I've been having a love affair with Fabriano, my color Fabriano, for a long time. But it just gets harder to have these stacks and be able to organize things. So I needed to find a way to capture it all and put it in a place that is at my fingertips. So, well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you around. Take care.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.